tonight with a message from local police to say something when you see something. Now, the message comes after several reports of a strange man approaching customers at the Meijer store in Mason.
I am coming to you guys live from my bathroom, so sorry if it's echoey in my shower, but this is the only place that I can hide from my kids. So I never go live. It's not me to go live, but something happened to me today that was extremely scary, and just like, I'm still so shook up about it. I can't even believe it happened to me of all people. But human trafficking is the real deal. Michigan is the second in the nation. And today I was at the Mason Meijer around noon, just Kennedy and I, just doing the typical grocery shopping, going through my list. And I was about halfway done, and Lou was just getting fussy and wanted to get out of the cart as usual. And I let her out, and we were just walking, and like moments later, I turned the corner into the baking aisle, and I was to the right of the aisle, like right around the corner, and I felt someone put their hand on the small of my back as they came around this left side of me, and it was an Indian gentleman, older gentleman, probably 50s, 60s years old. And yes, Katie, yes. And he asked me if I celebrated Halloween, which I thought was kind of a weird question, but I have also been there when dads like don't want to get kids for, you know, whatever reason. So I said, yeah, we celebrate Halloween. And I really, honest to God, thought he was gonna ask me what kind of candy was popular. Like, he was Indian, barely spoken any English, so he just like didn't know about Halloween, I figured. And he started to tell me about how he had heard that something about fire and hell and blah, 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 but I could not really understand him. And he said something about seeing 3 pumpkins on one side and 10 on the other, and that is the devil's number 13, and fire and hell and blah, 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 blah. And this whole time he's fidgeting in his pocket and inside of his coat. Looking back now, I think he was just looking for his needle to stab me with something to get me out of the store. Thankfully, there was 2 ladies, a mom and a daughter, right in front of me, about 5 feet in front of me, and they went around the pole and just lingered right there as this stranger, he put his hand on my shoulder and kept just talking broken English and about hell, and to save my daughter, I should not be celebrating Halloween. And so I just started yelling, thank you, and he kept following me, getting closer, and so I just started screaming, thank you, just to make a huge scene. And as I did that and he realized I was making a scene, he jetted around the corner like so quick. The whole time in this conversation, now looking back at it, he kept pointing to my daughter, like visibly pointing her out to someone, but I did not catch it then. But looking back, there was an Indian woman at the very end of the other opposite aisle, or the end of the aisle I was in, and he kept looking at her when he would point my daughter out. I got away, there was thankfully like an 18-year-old kid stacking the shelves, and I just said, sir, I'm not really sure, but something really scary just happened, and I don't know who to tell, but somebody needs to know about this that just happened. And he got right on his phone, and they called the general manager of the grocery section, and they came over and talked to me, and I left. I finished grocery shopping and I left, and they watched me walk out the door. When I got home, I noticed on 2 garage sale sites that the exact same situation had happened to a lady in the parking lot right afterwards. It happened to me. And it also happened at a Target in Lansing. I was told not to go public about this, but you guys, I know human trafficking is real, and I never thought that I would ever be, I don't want to call myself a victim because it happened to me, but where my brain has went since then that it could have is I don't ever want any woman to ever think of that or have to be in that situation. So I am just here to warn every woman and child that I really don't know what to tell you to do except for be aware of your surroundings and trust your gut. Because when it first happened, I really thought the dude just wanted to know what kind of Halloween candy to buy. Like, I'm that naive or that friendly, I don't know, but that's definitely not what his intentions were. When it happened to the lady in the parking lot, he cornered her. She was trying to get into her car to put her child into her car, and he stood in the doorway, like blocked her from walking away from the car or anything. And she actually had to pretend like she was gonna stab him with her umbrella to get away. I just cannot emphasize enough to just pay attention to your surroundings. And I don't know, don't let anybody, like, he put his arm on my shoulder and on my back. Like, I don't know how I'm here still and safe, but I really believe it's to warn everyone else that this human trafficking is so, so real. Like, I thought that before. Tom and I have talked about it before. We've talked about it with our parents. But the Meijer is literally right off a highway exit. I don't want to say don't ever go to a grocery store that's right by a highway, but definitely beware, because obviously we could have been on that highway long gone with this crazy man in 2 seconds and never would have ever known, you know? So I just want to share my experience in that I never thought I would ever be in that kind of situation, ever. I'm smart. I'm not dumb. I know that's a problem. But even in these little tiny towns, which is, I think, is why it's even bigger of a problem, because you're so comfortable in a small town, in a small little Meijer, that you never even think about it. But we literally were seconds away from not being here anymore. I believe in my whole heart. Like, going back, there were so many red flags that if I just wouldn't have been thinking, oh, this guy just wants to know about Halloween candy. He did not care about Halloween candy at all. He was telling me to save my daughter from the devil, as he's like specifically pointing her out to someone. So I just feel really strongly about to not be naive about it and think that it just happens, you know, wherever in big towns, or it's not going to happen to me. I never in a million years would have thought that it would happen to me, ever. So just please be aware of your surroundings and watch out for others. Thank God there was 2 other women in the aisle with us, or I believe if we were in the aisle alone, we would not be here today. So, or maybe not in my comfort of my own home. So, please be aware. Please watch for anything. If it seems weird, make a scene. Who cares how stupid you look? I probably looked like a fool in that aisle. But if that saved my daughter's life and mine, I'll look like a fool every day, all day long. Like, who cares? It does not matter. Even in a little Meijer in a little town, like, be aware. I can't stress it enough. Just be aware. I'm like already thinking ahead, like, obviously I'm going to carry pepper spray. I even thought, like, I always shove my keys to the bottom of my purse, and I'm going to keep them at the top because you can easily grab them and stab somebody in the eye. I know that sounds so horrible, but like, if that would save my life and my daughter's life, then obviously that's what I'm going to do. I just really want everyone to be aware. I feel like I'm repeating that over and over, but you have no idea how, like, surprised and scary it was. And now looking back, like, thank God he did not stab me with whatever drug that is. I've heard of that. You're still coherent. It's just you willingly walk out the store with this person. He had his hands on my shoulder and on the small of my back twice. And I just am so thankful that we made it home. I probably will never go that Meijer ever again. Not that to say it would happen again, but just the fact that it was so traumatic to me. I don't want to say to always be with somebody else, because I know that's not possible, especially if you're a stay-at-home mom or a work-at-home mom like I am. But just be aware and be prepared and know your surroundings and just have a plan in your head, because I didn't. Like, I did not know what to do at first. I didn't. But thankfully we made it home and we're safe and everything's okay. But be aware, human trafficking is the real deal, and I never would have thought it would be part of my life ever, or obviously an incident in my life.